we've got the debut of Kushida and an otherwise really weirdly good show. Let's talk about it. Hey, we're reviewing a show on the night it actually aired, and it sounds like I've actually even got my voice back. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal, Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your NXT review for May 1st, 2019. And yes, there's one thing going into tonight's show that we were all excited about, debut of Kushida. Now, a lot of you out there, especially if people that are hitting me up on Twitter or anything to be an indicator saying, what the fuck do you mean you don't know who Kushida is? Well, I don't know who Kushida is the answer to that one. But you guys know. At the same time, I reach out to you guys, tell me what I need to know. You know, he's great. Okay. Awesome. Really, really awesome. So I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at, you know, they do the preview of every episode of Raw, SmackDown, whatever. And I'm looking at it, and there's that. There's a singles match that I don't... sorry. Still getting over being sick, even though I do have a voice left, so bear with me. There's a 3-on-3 match that I don't really care much about. There's a 1-on-1 match that I don't really care much about. There's an ongoing story that I do care about, and there's a debut that I care about against a guy that I don't care about. I did not go into this show tonight with high hopes, I'm not going to lie, and you guys know me, I bleed yellow on this channel at this point in time, but I was planning to come up here and say, you know, the guy had his debut, one-match show. Okay, it is what it is. That happens occasionally on NXT. But it's really not what we got. Anyways, we started off tonight. I'm going to skip the house cleaning. You guys know the drill. Go in the annotation up above. Check out the playlists for Worlds Collide, NXT, NXT UK, the topical videos, the previews, the Q&A, all that shtick. If you don't know, ask in the comment section. Somebody else will fill you in. We started off, obviously, with a video package of Kushida. Not very much in-ring action, just many shots of him in his weird sunglasses, voiced over by William Regal and Triple H, telling us, you know, how exciting this is for NXT and how he's the latest, greatest, new, shiny toy, as Cassius Ohno says, even though Cassius Ohno is a fucking idiot. It's a good video for a package with not much in it. It's a good video package. Can we just say that? Start off the show proper with the Forgotten Sons taking on Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, along with Humberto Carrillo, which means, I guess, his other tag team partner is fucked, I guess. He's stuck in 205 limbo. I don't really know. And I went into this, like I said, you know, I like Lorcan and Burch. I've always said the Forgotten Sons are missing a little bit of something, and Humberto Carrillo, it feels like he's there to fill in the numbers, even though he was the one that got the beatdown that led to this match. It really feels like he's the sixth man out in his own beatdown story. But Logan, sorry, starts early. My notes suck. You guys know this. Lorcan and Cutler start the match. There's a mud hole by Cutler, and they trade some chops. There's a back elbow by Lorcan, a blockbuster, and an uppercut. Suicide senton by Lorcan, and I love this. I love the suicide senton by Lorcan because it's kind of like watching Booker T do the rock bottom. Booker T didn't move nearly as fluidly as The Rock, but that wasn't his shtick. You don't look at Oney Lorcan and see a particularly fluid guy. He's a brawler. So when he does something like what the high flyers do, there's a different feel to it. There's a brawling feel even when he's doing a high fly type maneuver. I don't know why I focused on that particularly, but it was really, really good. Beat down by Lorcan and Burch, standing moonsault by Carrillo and a series of strikes, spinebuster by Riker, mounted punches, and a knee drop. When he does the knee drop is a pretty rudimentary thing, isn't it? But Riker, I will say to his credit, the group, it still needs to do something. I'm just going to keep going back to that. They need to add something to the mix other than, you know, being the next Wyatt family, the next Sanity, the next bunch of ragtag alternative people in the company. But Riker on his own is a fucking tank, is he not? Simple thing like a knee drop, it looks absolutely deadly. Cutler throws Blake into Carrillo. It's a really weird thing. It's the whole... It's because Carrillo is a cruiserweight, and typically cruiserweights do that whole thing because they're lighter. They can throw their partners at their opponents, use their partners as weapons. When you see two bigger guys doing something like that to a smaller guy, it changes the dynamic. It changes the context just a little bit, enough to make it feel new. And you don't need is the thing here when tripping over my words tonight already. Heels are brutalizing baby faces one-on-one. They've already got the size advantage, so why not throw one at the other? Double neckbreaker by Cutler and Blake, a top rope headbutt by Riker. The top rope headbutt by Riker makes me think of somebody we're not allowed to talk about anymore. Cobra clutch by Riker and right hands for everybody by Birch when he gets the hot tag. Snap German by Birch and a top rope dropkick and a crossface. Beatdown by Riker, top rope dropkick by Carrillo. Carrillo's suicide dive hits Lorcan by mistake, which takes him out, leaving in the ring Danny Birch, who's tough as fucking nails, taking on all three of the Sons in a brawl, because they've all decided to come in the ring. You know, all of our opponents, except for one, are on the outside, so why don't we all get in the ring? That's great. Polish hammer by Riker in a triple. I cannot describe this. You guys know I have this trouble a lot. But basically, Riker sets up Birch in a... Birch and Carrillo in a double reverse DDT position, and there's a double stomp thing. It's the typical move that Cutler and Blake do, where it's the inverted DDT followed by the stomp, but somehow they managed, all three of them, to do it to two of their opponents while the third one was still stuck on the outside. It was pretty good. There was some tandem stuff here tonight. I will say this. For all the hardness I've been given to the Forgotten Sons recently and saying they really need to pick it up, they really need to do something, there was some tandem stuff in this match that looked like a bunch of really good ideas that haven't quite been realized yet. Like, that ending sequence was ridiculous, and it's only really something you're going to be able to use when you're in 3-on-3 matches. It's kind of like a lot of the stuff that the New Day did for a little bit, where there were maneuvers that used all three of them. But how often is there a legitimate reason to have 3-on-3 matches, which is why the New Day doesn't really work, does it? And that's why this doesn't work either. Now, with this group, you've got a clear leader in Jackson Riker who could go be, say, North American champion, and the other two could go get the tag titles. They have that defined. This is the tag team, this is the leader dynamic. So they could do that, but it still doesn't get you back into a legitimate reason for 3-on-3 matches. But that's another story for another time. For a group that I still say, and I'm going to stick to it, as repetitive as I'm being, the Forgotten Sons need something. Humberto Carrillo did not overcome the idea that he was the extra body in the ring. Lorcan and Birch need to be in a tag team title picture, whether it's here, whether it's in the UK. I mean, I don't think we want any more call-ups to the main roster right now, but you could put these guys, if the Bar was still together. This is something I was saying, and this is something I was saying online, I believe it was last week. You could have these guys versus the Bar, and just no titles, no branding, whatever. Throw them on a random house show, like NXT people sometimes show up at the regular Raw, SmackDown house shows. Give me the Bar versus Lorcan and Birch. No reason at all. Just put them in the ring and let them go. I think it would be really, really good. In the back, we see one of the announced chicks. I can't think of her name. I'm sorry. I'm becoming one of those assholes, but they are kind of alike. Keeps on questioning Shayna Baszler about the challenges from Io Shirai. Makes fun of her, and it's like, hey, you know, you attacked her, you attacked your friend. Are you trying to intimidate her because she's pinned you and you have not pinned her? Looks at her, doesn't say a word, swats the microphone away. Typical Shayna Baszler. It's fucking amazing. All the people that are like, oh my god, she's primed for the main roster, don't fucking do it. Because either they're going to ruin her, like they ruined the Viking Raiders. They're going to put some sound effects in her entrance, like they did to Ricochet, who ricochets because his name is Ricochet. They're just going to ruin her. They're just going to ruin her. They're going to fast track something between her and Charlotte Flair because of the whole horsewoman thing. And I mean, the horsewoman thing shouldn't be a thing anymore because Rousey's gone and Sasha Banks should be gone. But that's another story for another day. Shayna Baszler is awesome. The girls that she's got behind her right now just acting as like extra muscle, extra backup. Hope they get to see some more in-ring time sometime soon, because we do actually need to see them wrestle at some point. But for right now, as a band of bullies, it really does work. Speaking of, you know, random bitchy women, let's be real for a second. Bianca Belair showed up at the Performance Center to talk some shit to Mia Yim for reasons, and then when Mia Yim actually stepped to her, she fucked off, because that's what she does. They're having a match next week. That's fine. I know who I'm cheering for. Moving on. Dominik Dijakovic. You guys know what I think about him. Taking on Mansoor, who, unless I've seen him before and not known it, I didn't know anything about. Wasn't very excited about this match. I'm an idiot. Here we go. Side headlock by Mansoor, and Dijak rakes the face in the corner immediately to break that side headlock. Chops by Mansoor, a rolling kick and a boot in the corner. Dijak, I will say, for all the bad that I have to say about Dijakovic, or not even bad, he's not a bad wrestler. He hasn't done anything wrong. He hasn't done anything to offend me on my television. He hasn't been interesting enough to offend me. I don't... It's very much the same as the Forgotten Sons. I do not have a reason to care about this guy. He's gone up against people that I like. He's gone up against the, you know, the Matt Riddles, I think, and the Keith Lees. And they've done a whole bunch of the, okay, you're big, let's just find somebody else big. And the whole feast your eyes thing is really, really lame. And I hate saying that about NXT, but it's true. That being said, can't say the guy's not a physical specimen. He chucks, and I mean chucks, Mansoor out of the ring to the point where my notes right there in big capital letters just say chucks him out of the ring. Damn. And it's good. And to be fair, Mansoor, who I know nothing about, took the bump like a champ. Vertical toss suplex by Dijak once they're back in the ring. Corner back elbows. A backbreaker by Dijak, which again, Roderick Strong, you might want to pay attention to this. I think somebody's trying to take your title, but that's fine. And he rides a headlock for a while because that's what heels do. Chinlock with a post by Dijak is what we get after the headlock because, you know, what's better than one heel submission? 2 heel submissions, then he stomps him in the midsection just for good measure. Backpack sleeper by Mansoor. And the thing that I like about Mansoor, and I didn't mention it earlier, is whenever Mansoor had any type of submission or choke or hold on him, he'd get thrown off and he'd be immediately back on. He got onto this backpack sleeper, and he got, you know, the typical, like, okay, somebody's got me in a sleeper, I better back up against the turnbuckles. And he got knocked off. And what did he do then? He rebounded off of those turnbuckles to get back on his back and lock the backpack sleeper back on again. It was really, really good. And I lost my place. Of course I did. Series of forearms by Mansoor after the hold gets broken for a second time, and a step-up kick out of the corner by Mansoor, followed by a roundhouse. Now, here's where the cool thing comes in, because the roundhouse takes Dijak to one knee. And yes, I'm calling him Dijak because Dijakovic is retarded. He's got him down on one knee, sort of like, dazed, whatever. Which normally, like, he overplays the dazed thing. He kind of looks like one of those guys from the old Mortal Kombat games or the old Street Fighter games where they were dazed, but you couldn't just tell they were dazed. They had to do one of these things and have, like, the birds chirping around their heads or whatever. It was a little bit animated. It would have bugged me if they hadn't used it. As I say, he's down on one knee. Mansoor hops up, stands on his knee, uses his knee as a springboard to a mid-air enziguri that was fucking picture perfect. And, like, if you figure you're standing on... I don't know why I'm doing this with my hands. If you figure standing on somebody's knee, you're already this close to them. You don't have very much room for error. Pulled it off. Great. Kick to the midsection by Dijak, some chops and a quick knee strike for the win for Dijak. However, I come out of this match, my opinion hasn't really much changed about Dominik Dijakovic, but what I will say coming out of this match is that I really want to see more Mansoor. So Dijak must have done his part in the match for me to see what I wanted to see out of this guy Mansoor. Now, ultimately, could he have just been out there as a body for Dijak? Cool, but most of the people that have just been out there as a body for Dijak are people that I've ended up wanting to see more of. So on the back end of it, maybe Dijak's doing his job. That's not even the point of this segment. The point of this segment is Velveteen Dream rolling out on stage in that big extravagant couch that he's got with all the ladies and everything. Sorry. And I did not write down his promo because his promo wasn't a promo. We know that Dijak challenged him. He wants a shot at Velveteen Dream's North American Championship. Dream points to the stage above him, gets the crowd to sing along. He's got his own version of the fucking American national anthem, just detailing how great he is, what a great champion he is, all the people that he's beaten, etc. Follows it up with Dream Over, does the whole snap thing, which in the week of the Endgame release is a really, really heartbreaking sound. Isn't it? Oh, I could say so many things right now that would get me in so much trouble. Love that movie. Bottom line, love that movie. Some problematic shit in there that I'm going to do a video on at some point. But overall, great movie. Anyways, totally besides the point. Maybe it's because Thanos is purple and there's a whole lot of purple when you talk about Velveteen Dream. I don't know. Anyways, Dream Over. That's going to continue on another day. We get the announcement that Adam Cole's going to take on Matt Riddle next week after a long recap of what happened last week with the Strong, Gargano, Riddle, Cole, Undisputed Era situation. We see them in the back cutting one of their typical promos until Adam Cole takes a shot at Roderick Strong, building the dissension within the group. Fish goes to take care of Roderick Strong, who's all upset. Kyle O'Reilly stays and totally is on the side of Adam Cole. So, I don't want them to completely split the group. I've said for a while now, if you're going to bring Adam Cole up to the main roster, have some kind of match between him and Roderick Strong where Roderick Strong, like, wins control of Undisputed Era so that Adam Cole can come up and Roderick Strong can be, like, the Undisputed Strong Era. I don't really know. That's going to come down the line. That's not going to happen if we end up with some weird, like, Cole and O'Reilly versus Fish and Strong match, because that's just cutting the thing in half, but that also cuts the tag team in half. Maybe that makes sense, maybe that doesn't make sense, maybe that's maybe you guys want the group to totally disband into 4 singles guys. Let me know down in the box below. I mean, you could have Cole go one way, Strong go the other way, and the other 2 stay as a team, but I don't think Fish and O'Reilly, even in NXT, have very far to go as singles guys as we stand right now. I think Roderick Strong leading the group after Adam Cole goes to the main roster, that is the best solution to me. You've got a perfect excuse to do that right before NXT goes to, or sorry, before SmackDown Live goes to Fox. That's the time to do it. Please put Adam Cole on SmackDown. Nothing good happens on Raw. I mean, to be fair, this week nothing good happened on SmackDown either. But actually, on Raw we found out that WWE Creative just flipped the bird to Sasha Banks, so that made me smile a whole bunch. That made me smile so much that I didn't even care Naomi got a win on Monday. That's how good that was. Yeah, I have opinions on the Sasha Banks thing. I'm going to get to that eventually, but what we're going to talk about right now is the main event, the debuting Kushida versus Cassius Ohno. Now let me say all the shit you're supposed to say about a new debuting guy. Love the entrance. Makes him feel like a rock star. I know that there's a gimmick here somewhere. Somebody that knows a lot about Kushida, somebody that's seen him in Japan, somebody that's seen him on the indies, tell me what the deal is with him mimicking Back to the Future. Because I really just want to know. He's got the clock and the watch on his wrist tape. He's got the old Marty McFly jacket. He's got the silver sunglasses, which I guess is a gimmick. I like his music. His music sounds like I don't want to say rock opera because that'll give you the wrong idea, but it gave me the feel that you get from a rock opera, if that makes any sense at all, without actually sounding like rock opera music. His entrance is great. It's very, very blacklighty. There's a countdown, sort of Jericho-esque. There's a lot of elements that they're pulling together for this guy, and I like what he did in the ring as well. He offers a handshake to Cassius Ohno that obviously gets kicked away. They go back to this a couple times because after he gets his ass kicked a little bit, Ohno goes for the handshake and tries to cheap shot him again. And later on down in the match, I'm just saying this now because I didn't write it down, there was a thing where he knocked down Ohno and took Ohno's hand and took the handshake that Cassius Ohno wouldn't give him. So the storytelling alone is fucking magical. But let's talk about the actual match itself because the match started slow. It's a Cassius Ohno match. What the hell do you expect? There's a collar and elbow tie, but a front slam by Ohno, a headlock by Ohno, and a Kushida works the arm. Surfboard by Ohno, and it's reversed by Kushida. A takedown, and a front face lock by Kushida. All really fluid. This dude, and those of you that know who this guy is already know this, obviously. But this dude is really fucking fluid from like one hold to another hold to another hold. It's a cool little thing. Low drop kick by Kushida and a standing moonsault, boot by Ohno and a face wash and a knee drop, moonsault and a double boot by Kushida followed by an enziguri, springboard axe handle and a drop kick to the hand by Kushida. The symbolism of the handshake that he wouldn't give him and then kicking him in the arm and kicking him in the hand later on in the match, the messages being told there, the story being told there, the psychology of it. It's a good little narrative for what was probably about a 10-minute match. Face down powerbomb by Ohno, I will say, as much as I do not... Okay, Ohno is not in the Dijak and Forgotten Sons category where, like, I want to care about them, but I don't care about them yet. It's not like Forgotten Sons where I think they just need a little bit more. They need to bring it together a little bit more. I actively don't like Cassius Ohno on my TV because he doesn't entertain me. But I will say the inverted sort of face-down powerbomb that he did looked like it fucking wrecked. So 1 point for him, I guess. Mic check by Kushida into the second turnbuckle, springboard run by Kushida and a series of right hands, back elbow by Ono, a big boot, and he boots him again in the ropes. A wind-up punch by Kushida when the announcers went on to tell us that it's a tribute to somebody, and I didn't write down who the somebody was because I'm an idiot, but then he locks him in the hoverboard lock. If the Back to the Future thing wasn't already hammered home, he locks him in the hoverboard lock, which is basically, the best I can explain it, is he got him in sort of a head scissor. You remember when Sin Cara debuted and he used to do the head scissor into the crossface? It was a head scissor, it was an aerial move that took you down immediately into a submission. Well, this is sort of a head scissor into a step over Kimura. It's not a Kimura in the sense that Brock Lesnar would do it, where he was behind you, sometimes had a body scissor, etc. He's standing right over him in the Kimura as he comes out of this airborne head scissor maneuver. So that's apparently called the hoverboard lock, and that's what got the win for Kushida. I like this guy so far. So he came out of this tonight, a show that I wasn't very excited about other than the main event, even though the main event half of the main event was Cassius Ohno. Come out of this show not only with Mansoor, who had a surprising match with Dominik Dijakovic, but you come out of here with the debuting Kushida impressing the hell out of me as somebody that's never seen him before. That's a good fucking night. And not only that, you set me up to look forward to next week, because next week we got Cole versus Riddle. We got the continuation of the dissolving Undisputed Era. We've got Mia Yim versus Bianca Belair, and you know what I want to see happen there. We've got more growing story between Dijak and Dream. God help me, I'm actually interested in something that Dijak is doing. Does the Undisputed Era fall apart? Is there going to be an end between Cole and Riddle? Is Mia Yim going to make me a happy person and kick the ever-loving fuck out of the no longer undisputed, no longer undefeated, but very, very delusional Bianca Belair? I don't know. I'm looking forward to next week. I loved this show, even though I didn't think I was going to. I can't really ask for anything more. I don't know why Raw and SmackDown can't do this. I also don't know when you guys are going to get your UK and Worlds Collide reviews from me this week, because as you can tell, the voice is there, but it's straining just a little bit. Thanks for hanging out with me. That's about all I got to say for tonight, as I have no witty, clever closer for you, other than I've been Spaz, your YWC reality chick. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I will talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys.
Don't shine if you're a freak like me.